Today we will be reviewing the MacBook Pro with the M5 Pro chip. I've had it for around 1 month now and I've used it quite a bit, and I thought we would talk about it.
Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this.
It's the MacBook Pro with the M5 Pro chip, not the Max chip. 48 gigs of unified memory in it and 1 terabyte of storage. As you can see, I got it in this nice space black color. Now, if you're not familiar with my videos, I have a background in filmmaking and I will be kind of reviewing this MacBook from that perspective. We will be making an export benchmark and comparing it with my old PC. We'll see the real-time performance while editing, and then talking about some unexpected things, good things, and then testing out the speakers, talking about the battery life, the form factor, why I went with the 16-inch MacBook. Let's start with the export and kind of editing experience on this Mac. Here I have my half Ironman video, which I edited and posted last September. It's in total 31 minutes and 55 seconds long. The timeline is quite detailed and there are a lot of layers, a lot of audio layers, and there's an underlying kind of interview, which is a multicam edit with 2 cameras, and then I have B-roll on top. I have these zooms on top. I like using 9 audio layers with these different sound effects and different songs all the time, and then I have some graphics and text also. There's a lot of stuff going on here. And this we will be exporting. And I think the export on my PC took around 40 minutes. I'll put it on the screen, the final time. So according to all logic, this should be faster. Real quick before we export, let me show you kind of my color grading flow and node 3. I have 19 nodes, almost 20 nodes. I just have the CST in and out nodes, a lot of exposure stuff happening, color stuff, some effects. If there are very noisy clips, I have the denoise and sharpening, I have grain, and then also black bars. So the settings are the same as with my PC. I'm doing MP4, H.264, 4K and 25 frames per second. And quality automatic. On PC it looks a little bit different. Here it asks if you want the quality to be high or whatever. I put it high. Encoding profile, I'm gonna leave it at auto. Oh, actually here you can see, last time I exported it, it was 40 minutes and 48 seconds. So let's see if it's faster now. Add to render queue. Oh, 34, 33 minutes, 32 minutes. Anyway, I will catch you towards the end of the export back here. Okay, now we're around maybe third of the way through, maybe a little bit less, and you can start hearing the fans kicking in. 32% and it says 24 minutes remaining, so seems like it's on track to be way under 40 minutes, but how much, that will remain to be seen. There's 2 minutes remaining. It feels decently, warm of course, but not hot at all. Final export time, drumroll please, is 35 minutes and 31 seconds. So it's 1/8 faster, so that means it's 12.5% faster than my PC. Yeah, which is like decent. Like on a one-off case, it's not like super significant, but anyway, if you're working a lot with videos and exporting regularly, then it of course adds up. Yeah, I would say I'm satisfied with that result. And if you know any tricks how I can optimize this, how I can make it faster, please feel free to let me know down below in the comments. Now let's talk about the editing experience in general. The editing work I do currently is mainly for my YouTube videos. My workflow is at the end of the day quite simple. I have quite a simple timeline where I cut the video. Quite often I like stacking different texts and animating them using different masks and so on. I like to play around, but still my editing workflow isn't the heaviest imaginable. And also when color grading, that's where I kind of like playing around sometimes. Even when having color graded the whole timeline with 15 nodes, it still runs very smoothly through the timeline. Moments when I've noticed that it drops frames is obviously if you're using heavy denoise, something which was unexpected actually. I was editing this bike video. I had two layers, one just like the normal vertical video, and then I had another vertical video under it, and then put a simple Gaussian blur effect on it. And actually there, just playing the video on the timeline, it slowed down quite significantly, which in my opinion was very surprising. But in general, when I was editing, I would say I'm using around 20 to 25% of the CPU and GPU. So there's definitely a lot more potential in this machine. I think editing in 4K, having quite a beefy timeline, even with tens of nodes, it's not an issue with this machine. Let's talk about the form factor next. I was thinking quite a lot about should I go with the 14-inch one or the 16-inch one, because the 14-inch one also has plenty enough of good specs, but ultimately the choice came down to the screen size and the screen real estate. I feel like the 2 extra inches is actually quite a lot when for instance editing or color grading. For many people the weight and the size can be quite a deal breaker. It's definitely on the heavier side. You feel that it's more of a serious kind of machine. So far it hasn't been an issue for me. I've transported it with a duffel bag in just a computer sleeve with other books and my camera and so on, and it has been quite manageable. A nice surprise with this Mac, it fit into all of my 15-inch laptop sleeves and my camera backpack. This is the sleeve I've had for many years now. Fits like a glove, very convenient to throw in a bag. This is a very common camera backpack that I have here. ProTactic BP450 AW2 by Lowe Pro. Slides in and fits perfectly. No issue at all. So I would say whether you're working from home or traveling to the other side of the world with your camera backpack, carrying this Mac around, I don't think it will be an issue. Now let's talk about battery life next. I feel like it runs a little bit quicker than I expected. So they advertise it as being up to 24 hours, but it says that it's tested with a 14-inch MacBook Pro with the M5 chip, 24 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte. Anyway, you get the idea. In my experience with these specs, working with video editing, having Claude open, having Google Chrome open, doing my regular editing workflow, just cutting on the timeline, color grading. When I went to the cafe to specifically see how fast my battery runs out, I started out with 100%. In around 5 hours while working, it ran down to 10%. So yeah, I was surprised. I would have been expecting at least maybe 8 hours. So let's say if you're a video editor and you're planning on going to the office for 8 hours or just a co-working space cafe for 8 hours, it's a good idea to bring the charger with you. Let's put it that way. As for the speakers on the Mac, let's put it this way. The first time I tried them out in the store, I was kind of blown away by the fact, how is it possible that it's such a thin computer and the sound that it produces, it's at the same time so crisp but also full of bass. I will run a test just to give you some sort of an idea. Obviously, this won't give a realistic listening experience, but I will put the song beforehand just in the video playing, and then I will play the same song from the MacBook, so you can kind of get an idea of what it sounds like.
Let's get down to business. Give you one more night, got this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business.
In my opinion, at least, very good. Now let's talk about other things that are good with this Mac. Let's start off with the display. It has a super wide color gamut, so when you're color grading, it sounds so simple, but you really notice all the colors. It's so vibrant. The brightness is very astonishing, I would say. One thing I will add though, in some scenarios when there's a bright backlight from my window, or if I were to use it outside on a sunny day, I can see that the nano display would be beneficial. One kind of obvious thing, once you have experienced it and once you are used it, is the ecosystem. I have the iPhone 15 Pro and I also recently got the AirPods Max 2, and me working a lot with videos and especially filming a lot on my phone, it's so convenient to just airdrop it straight away to my Mac and it's done. For sure there are like a lot of nice little hacks and tricks that you can do which I haven't done yet or haven't maybe found yet. The MagSafe Charger, very convenient. I've had a few occasions where someone's foot kicks the charger and it safely detaches from the computer without dragging it out. So that's a surprisingly good feature. I'm a big fan of how things feel and what things look like. So the kind of premium feel with the computer, the materials, the feel of the trackpad, the keyboard, how snappy everything is. It's very satisfying to work. When I used to work with my PC that I had, every time you boot it on, there's some sort of antivirus ad or some sort of Windows pop-up or some sort of notification. There's always something happening on the screen when you start the computer. Here, you flip it open and it's ready to go, no nonsense, and that's how it's supposed to be. Some unexpected things. I really didn't expect it to be so smooth to transition from using Windows to using Mac. Actually, like using the Mac OS, everything has been super intuitive. As for some negative sides, really nothing major. There are like small quirks. For instance, I notice when I create folders, usually I create the folder and then I start typing and I want to type the folder name, but for some reason it doesn't let me like straight away start typing. Sometimes I try to kind of select a lot of files and drag them from one location to another. It doesn't work. Small things like this, but also it might be that I'm doing something wrong. One more thing actually that I thought of. When you start the computer, it starts up very quickly, but for some reason when I turn it off, it takes quite some time. Yeah, that's something I have actually reacted to, but by the way, if you are watching this video and you know something I don't know, please feel free to leave those things down in the comments. I would really appreciate it. The work that I currently do and more how I do it, it doesn't utilize exactly all the components to their fullest potential. That was one kind of thing I was aware of when I bought this. Just the fact that for my current work, in some cases it's quite overkill. The main reason I got the Mac with these specs is because I wanted to future-proof kind of my work and the tools that I have. I'm planning on experimenting more with AI and trying to figure out how I can utilize like different AI agents and so on in my workflow, whether it's video editing or like completely other things. So that's kind of a side thing I'm kind of working on in the background. So if you have any suggestions on how I can use it to its fullest potential, I am open to suggestions and comments down below. The final verdict: has the Mac been worth it? I would say definitely yes. Even if the price point is quite steep, this model is going for 3,649 euros here in Finland, which is obviously a significant amount of money. But if you compare it to how long the computer will last, probably 5 years plus the work that you can do, plus the fact that you can work from anywhere, I think it's quite justified, and in my case at least, it's very much worth it. And I would say this Mac with these specs would work for anyone with like even heavier workflows than me, or doing, for instance, animation or motion graphics or 3D. This should be able to handle it quite well. Personally, I'm very happy with it, and I'm just excited to see how I can utilize it, what kind of opportunities it creates, and what kind of new things I can think of. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below, it helps out a lot. Now, there are probably things I didn't mention, maybe something I missed, maybe something I said wrong in the video. Please feel free to leave a comment down below, I will go through them all. Subscribe if you're curious about my other videos and want to see how I possibly use the Mac in the future. Thank you really much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Let's get it.
We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business.